Hi, Dan. Good, Dan.
You made it.
I did.
Nice. Welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome again.
Yeah.
You look great.
Oh, thanks.
Tell me about the morning you drove yourself to the hospital.
Okay, so I came into work, and I was in a meeting, and I had noticed this feeling of pressure in my chest and my abdomen, and I had experienced it the night before, but I dismissed it. But this time was a little different. It didn't make any sense that I have indigestion at 10 o'clock in the morning. And then I noticed I was sweating at the temples a little bit, and I thought, I was getting a little dizzy. So I thought, So I was at the meeting. I said, I need to end the meeting. I'm not feeling well. They got me into the ER, the manual, and they got me right into what they call the cath lab. So they decided I needed some stents. I had a closed artery.
And before we could even get started, he had a cardiac arrest.
As soon as he arrived, within a couple of minutes, we had to have ongoing CPR.
That kept going for upwards of an hour.
And at that point, they tried several more times and we were unsuccessful in getting the stents in. And so they had to make a decision, and they communicated with my wife that it was not good. I know that at one point it was concluded that I had passed. And
that's true.
Yeah.
And that was my call, so I have to own that one.
And then I was literally at your side and kind of looked up at the monitor and I saw a heartbeat. And I looked down and I was like, he has a pulse. And then I asked, anesthesia was still there because they were kind of picking up stuff. And I was like, you need to turn the machine back on.
How common is this type of situation?
I've never seen it. I've seen patients with rhythm problems, and we've been able to salvage them by taking care of their artery problems. But I've never seen someone with that extent of rhythm disturbance, and for that length of time and that number of shocks and the length of CPR really recover without cognitive difficulties.
What I had remembered was, and I don't know exactly when this happened, I was conscious at one part during CPR. And I was looking up, and I thought I was looking through a very clear layer of water. And I can see a guy, and I could tell he was doing CPR on me. And I thought, he's doing CPR on me. I'm in trouble. But I didn't feel any fear. And then I saw his arms go out, and I said, they're going to shock me. And they did. And I never felt anything so painful in my life, but what I said later, it brought me through the water. It drew me through the water, and I took a deep breath, and that's all I remember.
I racked my brain off trying to, having done research for many years, doing this for over 20 years now, I tried very hard to kind of come up with a scientific explanation, but it only goes so far. And at some point you just have to stop and let go and say we all did everything we possibly can. And this time it actually worked and it helped someone. And I think that is fantastic. Obviously, Mr. Blackburn's not finished with all the things that he needs to do.
All this stuff everyone did for me is amazing. It was amazing. Gosh, it must have been pretty intense.
It's probably the most intense one that I've ever been a part of.
Definitely. And I felt in this situation, well, boy, did they bring a lot of skills, devotion, and boy, were they present for me.
Glad to see you.
Mutual, believe me.
Now, the team at Legacy Emmanuel was truly present for Ed, like he's been present for so many people in the city. Kathy?
Joey, out of oxygen for 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Does he say he has any lasting effects from this?
So far, nothing. Not only was he out of oxygen for 4 minutes, he had almost 2 hours of CPR, was paddled over 20 times. I mean, this was an intense code situation where, like you heard, they were about to declare him dead. He's moving on as if nothing happened. He was already planning to retire as executive director. He's transitioning out of that role, but he has one more big project that he needs to finish, and that's the transitional housing project out on Northeast 122nd, where they're naming the building in his honor.
Wow, still at it after all that. Yeah. Joey, thank you. Incredible story. If you have a story idea for Joey's Journal, you can email it to joeysjournal@kgw.com or post it on Joey's Facebook page.